And if we can either, we'll have to do a roll call in a minute here. So if we can go on video, I'd sure appreciate it. And we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order.
Thank you, Chair Pryor. This meeting is being held virtually and in person, so I will do a roll call of the trustees to confirm attendance. Mr. Knox will not be joining us today. Ms. Ginsburg? Here. Ms. Gray?
Aye.
Mr. Santos?
Here.
Thank you. Mr. Sanchez?
Present.
Mr. Moore?
Here.
Mr. Kehoe?
Present.
Mr. Robbins?
I am here.
Mr. Harris?
Here.
Ms. Sabanta? Mr. Bernstein?
Here.
Chair Pryor.
I'm here.
Staff participating in the meeting include DCEO Louis Lugal, Assistant Executive Officers JJ Popowich and Laura Guglielmo, Principal Investment Officer Jim Rice, Chief Counsel Stephen Rice, Senior Staff Counsel Frank Boyd and Fern Billingy, Staff Counsel Elaine Salon, Legislative Affairs Officer Barry Liu. Staff and managers participating today include Carly Natoya, Kathy Delino, Ted Granger, Barry Liu, Cassandra Smith, Roberta Van Nortrick, Tamara Caldwell, Vicki Neely, Carrie Wilson, Hernan Barrientos, Ricardo Salinas, and Louis Gittins. LACERA's medical advisor, Dr. Glenn Arisman, will also be participating, and consultants include Barbara O'Hara and Robert Schmicky from Alliant. Trustees, please use the raise your hand Zoom option to be placed in the queue. At this time, we ask all meeting participants to mute their mics until you are ready to speak, and now we may proceed with the agenda.
Thank you for that, Bonnie. And first order of business will be item 2, and that's approval of the minutes. We have to approve the special meeting of October 6, 2022. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion Bernstein, second Moore. Please call the roll.
Ms. Ginsburg?
Yes.
Ms. Gray?
Yes.
Mr. Santos?
Yes.
Mr. Sanchez?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Kehoe?
Aye.
Mr. Robbins?
Aye.
Mr. Bernstein?
Aye.
The motion passes unanimously by all trustees present.
Thank you. And for public comment, Bonnie, was that a written public comment? I know we had a written public comment that was submitted.
Yes.
Do
Yes.
we have a oral comment in addition?
Yes. We received a request to speak from applicant Hassan Kim for item 15A1, as well as a written comment. So it is
Okay.
a person. So that applicant is being admitted to the meeting now. One moment.
Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Kim, you may enter *6 to be unmuted. You will have 3 minutes to address the board, and you may begin now. Ms. Kim, you may address the board. You will have 3 minutes.
Good morning. My name is Hong Mary Kim, and I am on your agenda for discussion today. I would like to share that my retirement was carefully planned, and I sought the advice from the LACERA representatives each step of the way. This includes an in-person meeting with Mr. Lindstrom in July of 2015, annual follow-ups and more frequent follow-ups during October 2021 through March 2022. Therefore, being told 2 working days prior to my scheduled retirement date that 3 years and 3 months is being subtracted from total years of service has brought me much devastation. All of the LACERA annual statements showed my years of service, and that was continuously confirmed by LACERA reps. LACERA had ample opportunities to correct the errors, such as when I returned to county service in 2009, or when I started inquiring about the retirement back in 2015, or each time I contacted LACERA for updates. I had no alternative but to rescind my retirement while waiting to resolve this matter. However, errors and delays on the part of LACERA to date has caused me not only substantial physical and emotional distress, but also a significant financial losses, and will continue to have financial hardship into my retirement years. First, the rise in mortgage rates. In March, when I was pursuing a purchase of my new home, the mortgage rate was 2.9%. But as of 10/29, the rate is 0.32. It is also anticipated that the Fed will increase the interest rate by another 1.75 this month. This will undoubtedly have impact on my mortgage rates and my future mortgage payments. In this regard, I compared the two rates and provided you attachment 1 to my letter of October 31st addressed to the board. The difference is that I will have to pay an additional $389,000 in interest alone, and I would lose about $60,000 in equity until year 19 of the loan, the loss totaling $449,000. Second substantial loss since March 22 is the value of my home declined $295,000, leaving no room to supplement the shortfall of my monthly pension amount. Therefore, an estimated loss exceeds $778,000 between the increase in interest rate and depreciation of my home only. In addition, at the advice of both Horizon and LACERA reps, I postponed my retirement from January to March of this year to use in excess of 320 hours of accumulated time in preparation for my unsuccessful move. This
Ms.
is the
Kim,
kind
please
that
wrap up your comments. Ms. Kim, can you wrap up your comments, or is that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought I was cut off. Sorry. So in essence, I used the accumulated time that I could have saved for the future. And then in addition, I had to repurchase basic needs in order to maintain my home while waiting for your decision. And I hope you take these into consideration in your decision. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kim. We also have a written submittal that will be part of the record as well.
Thank you very much.
We'll be hearing your case later in the meeting. That brings us to item 4, executive update. For information, LACERA All-Stars. Mr. Popowich.
Thank you very much, Chair, and good morning to the trustees. This is the time of the meeting when it's those staff members who have gone above and beyond to help their fellow staff members and our members. And you'll see their names and pictures on the screen. So they are Melissa Salazar, Ian Duggan, Flora Zhu, Mike Mabry. Our ride share winner is Liliana Ronquillo, and our web watcher is Vachi Mazarazan. So thank you very much for all that you do for us. We greatly appreciate you. Thank you.
Okay, good morning.
Thank you. And then we have item 2, which is the CEO's report. Are you, do we have Mr. Sun? There he is.
Yep.
Mr.
Good
Kreiner,
morning, Chair
are you,
Pryor. This is Lewis, and I'll provide an update on the CEO report.
Okay, great. Thank you, Lewis.
Perfect. Again, good morning, Chair Pryor. Good morning, trustees. Just a few highlights from the CEO report that we want to update the board on. First and foremost, safety elections have concluded. The Board of Supervisors certified elections on October 18th. So again, congratulations to Trustee Kehoe, as well as Jason E. Green, who will be joining both the BOI and the BOR effective January of 2023. We also want to provide an update on our hiring. As of the last month, we've onboarded 5 new staff members, most of which are in our business services group. We have a new senior HR analyst that started a couple of weeks ago. We also have a accountant or 2 accountants that will start in the next week or so, as well as 2 accountants that's slated to start hopefully in the start of the calendar year, as well as a media artist and 2 procurement and supply staff within our admin services division, I should say. We also we're making progress in the investments with the investment vacancies. Chief Investment Officer Jonathan Grable will provide an update at the BOI next week in terms of their progress as it relates to the SIO for real estate, as well as some of the financial analysts for real estate. Thirdly, we want to update the board on the fact that we have a hiring plan that we've adopted or implemented, I should say. We've communicated the hiring plan to our management team, as well as all of our staff and our labor partners with SEIU. We will be presenting the hiring plan to the board in December during our OOC meeting in December. So it'll outline our hiring plan over the next really 18 months as it relates to the 100 vacancies or so that we have at LACERA, and in terms of our focus efforts around those. In terms of call center wait times, we did provide an update to the board. I know a couple of months ago, the team presented a presentation in terms of our wait time, and we still continue to experience higher than normal wait times. For August, we averaged about 13 minutes, and September, slightly higher, about 16 minutes average wait time. And obviously, those are higher during the peak hours between 10 and 3 p.m. We've made progress on implementing the callback feature, as well as some other interactive voice recording features that we're going to be implementing over the next couple of months to try to reduce the wait time. But really the core or the focus is getting staff onboarded. So we have our core training that has concluded. One of our training classes has concluded in the last few weeks. That team, about 8 agents, will be taking calls independently in December. And then we also have another 5 to 6 agents that will be taking calls independently in January. So we'll have an influx of resources to our member service call center here in the next couple of months, especially before we experience the high volume, which we experienced last year starting January as opposed to February and March. And lastly, we are looking at our next recruitment class for our core benefits class, and by spring. We did post a vacancy. We got quite a bit of applicants. So our goal is by spring of 2023 to onboard that new class and ensure that we have those individuals onboarded, relatively quickly. With that, the team and I stand for any questions as it relates to the CEO report.
Do we have any questions? Seeing none, thank you, sir. Next item of business is conference of legal counsel regarding existing litigation. So we'll give it a minute or two and make the room right and enter our executive session. All right, let's get it back going when we get a chance. Turn your videos on if you could. Let me know you're there. And we are on disability retirement applications on the consent calendar. So if we're good to go, we have sorry, I got page 1, safety, 814 through page 1 and page 2. Sorry, we have 814 through 834.
Move
Do
them.
we have a motion? We have a motion by Mr. Kehoe,
Second.
second by Mr. Robbins.
Ms. Ginsburg,
Yes.
Ms. Gray. I'll come back to you, Ms. Gray. Mr. Santos?
Yes.
From Gray. Yes. Okay, sorry.
Yes, Ms. Gray. Mr. Sanchez?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Kehoe? Mr. Kehoe? Thank you. Mr. Robbins?
Aye.
Mr. Bernstein?
Aye.
The motion passes unanimously by all trustees present.
Thank you. That brings us to page 3. This is safety, fire, FCD, SCD for fire and lifeguards. We have application 1527, Howard Hector, through application 1539, Jorge Guidos.
I'll move it.
Second by Pryor.
Ms. Ginsburg?
Yes.
Ms. Gray?
Aye.
Mr. Santos?
Yes.
Mr. Sanchez?
Yes.
Mr. Moore? Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Robbins?
Aye.
Mr. Bernstein?
Aye.
Mr. Pryor?
Aye.
The motion passes unanimously by all trustees present.
This brings us to page 4 and page 5. We have 2453 Rochelle Brandt through 2468 Veronica Mencia.
Move approval.
Motion by Mr. Santos,
Second.
second by Mr. Robbins. Call the roll, please.
Ms. Ginsburg,
Yes.
Ms. Gray. I'll come back to you, Ms. Gray. Mr. Santos,
Yes.
Mr. Sanchez,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Kehoe.
Aye.
Mr. Robbins,
Aye.
Mr. Bernstein,
Aye.
Ms. Gray. Okay, the motion passes unanimously by all trustees present.
Thank you. And that brings us to item 7, consent items on the consent calendar. We have A through E. I have not had any requests to have anything pulled.
I'll move consent.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second by Mr. Robbins.
Okay, Ms. Ginsburg,
Yes.
Ms. Gray,
Yes.
Mr. Santos,
Yes.
Mr. Sanchez,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Kehoe.
Aye.
Mr. Robbins,
Aye.
Mr. Bernstein.
Aye.
The motion passes unanimously by all trustees present.
That brings us to our non-consent items, which is going to be a discussion on the board-approved reciprocal disability retirement for named deferred members. You have a memo dated October 19th. And I do not see a motion, so let's go ahead and have a quick description of the item, please.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Okay, Ms. Ginsburg,
Yes.
Ms. Gray,
Yes.
Mr. Santos,
Yes.
Mr. Sanchez,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
Mr. Kehoe.
Aye.
Mr. Robbins,
Aye.
Mr. Bernstein.
Aye.
The motion passes unanimously by all trustees present.
Thank you. That brings us to reports. I believe we are information only for all of the presented reports. And I have not had any requests that any of those be done in open session. We have no items for staff review, or do we have any items for future agendas?
No, we do not.
I have a request for future agenda, Chair Pryor.
Sure, go ahead, Mr. Bernstein.
Given that in January, the new Brown Act law for public meetings will be in place, I would like to request that what has been consent A be brought to us if possible as a choice between sticking with the consent item or adapting the new Sacramento policies for public meetings. Is that something you can do, Mr. Rice?
Yes, I understand they're not mutually exclusive, but we intend to come to you in December with some to try to put some structure around the options and of course take whatever direction the board wishes to give.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rice. Do you have any other future agenda items that you would like to discuss? Seeing nothing, that brings us to go to the order.
Ms.
Bonnie?
Ginsburg? Yes, Ms. Ginsburg?
Nothing.
Ms. Gray?
Good morning, everyone. I have nothing further. Have a great week.
Mr. Santos?
Good morning. Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Sanchez?
Well,
Good morning, everybody. Nothing for me.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, go ahead.
forgot to mention something. So Bonnie sent out information regarding pension conference that's going to take place in November at the AFL-CIO of the a lot of the speakers are from the AFL-CIO, so I will encourage all my colleagues to take a look at the conference, and if you're interested to attend. I apologize on how that I was not able to get it on time on the agenda for today, but certainly Bonnie in her email described the ability to get it ratified by the board if you choose to go. So I will really encourage my colleagues to take a look at that and evaluate it with it or not. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moore.
I have nothing to add.
Mr. Keough?
Don't forget to vote next Tuesday.
Thank you, Mr. Robbins.
Nothing, just wishing everyone a great Thanksgiving holiday. My wife and I are gonna celebrate ours like we usually do on the beach in Waikiki.
Mr. Harris?
Nothing. Happy Thanksgiving.
Mr. Bernstein?
I just want to say it was inconvenient to drive here, and it's really nice to be here with people. And I want to just start a drumbeat a little early. Obviously, next month it's optional to be here, but I want to note that Mr. Pryor is leaving us after next month, after decades of honorable and distinguished service. And just personally, I think it would be nice if as many of us could be here in person as possible to send him off. It's a legacy of service, and it would be great to be together en famille for that. Obviously, it's people's choice, but I will be here, and I hope others will join me.
I will, Alan, I'll be there.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Pryor be there?
Well, let me, we'll come back to you, Ms. Gray, as soon as we're done, done everybody for the our first round of talk. Go ahead. Anybody else, Bonnie?
Yes, executive officers. Okay, Chief Counsel. Chair Pryor.
And Ms. Gray, go ahead.
thank you. Not feeling real well today, so I'm a little off my game, but I forgot to mention and to encourage everyone, SACR's conference will be held in Long Beach next week. It begins on election day, but you can come the next day, the 10th and 11th. I hope if you have not registered, you still can register because staff and trustees have a special price. And I encourage everyone to attend. John Grable will be on a panel. He will be leading discussions regarding CIO duties. There will be a lot of people and issues and topics that would be of interest to us all. You can go to our website, sacrs.org, and look at the agenda. I'm sure many of you in your emails have gotten a request to register and come and look at the agenda. So I'm encouraging everyone to attend. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I did want to thank Mr. Bernstein and Ms. Ginsburg specifically. Thank you for forging ahead and starting our new in-person meetings, and much appreciated. And hopefully we'll I'll be there next week. Feeling a little under the weather today, but I'll be there next week. And I appreciate the you guys making it through the rain and having the in-person meeting. Other than that, let's go ahead and without any further additions to the good of the order, let's go ahead and go to disability retirement cases in closed session.
Thank you. At this time, we'll clear the meeting platform. If you're not participating in the closed session, you may be dismissed from the meeting now. You'll be notified when to come back into the Zoom platform for the Operations Oversight Committee. One moment while we clear the meeting platform.